I have for the last few months been writing and collecting poems about Kansas. And so these are the following poems I've decided to put into a collection about Kansas. But the house I mean was an understatement of a thing. Simply put, in a simple place, it was sensible, and it was tiny, and it was a bit itty and a smidge bitty, and it could disappear if you sneezed on it. And Emporia overshadowed the simple tramp, and even a particle of Parsons could put the runt to shame, and who would miss it if it were hacked into bits and never seen again? And would it make a difference if the house I mean were once a home, I say, and that's not the point, but the house I mean, do not call it little. Don't you ever call it little. I'll hit you in the nose if you call it little, but the house I mean was a tiny thing on a vast and glorious prairie. And that, I think, is what I mean. Second, that one didn't have a title, so that's how I can introduce it. The second one is called The Cottonwood Tree. The Cottonwood Tree is supposed to be the state of Kansas tree mascot thing. And I only remember ever seeing one tree that's called the Cottonwood Tree, and it was growing from a part of the property on my elementary school. And the kids in my class used to make a game out of it. And I was seeing like the little flakes of cotton flying around in the air. And this poem starts with an epigraph. There are cottonwoods on the Great Plains today that were living when the great herds of bison still roamed the prairie. 1. Angry seeds tackle children on playgrounds like linebackers on a field. Airborne, armed, and fluffy, they bash into noses and throats of youths in mid-skip and tetherball bliss. They choke children, rough them up without warning, without saying sorry. They play innocent in their fairy tale coats designed by the mother tree herself. These cottony pellets are the terrible clones sent from war. They are the sinister spawn of the glorious prairie witch, the cottonwood, and they return every season, making the world snow-covered like a Christmassy April, a magical cruelty. 2. Grandma told us stories about you from the homeland. Der Wind, das himmlische Kind. And we believed you were one of us, one of us. We're not supposed to shoot the messenger, besides teacher took away our slingshots. So we sprint for our lives to the other side of the playground, praying for Ollie Oxen and Jesus to spare us all. For heaven's sakes, we are just children. And you're not playing fair, you bully. We want a rematch. We're not big enough yet. We'll fight you and your cotton. So redo. 3. The stupid ones, left behind in their nose-crusted, pea-stained glory, climbed to the top like you were a jungle gym. They tried to tame the prairie monster because they are too dumb to even choke, too dim to even sneeze. They breathe easily, even while wailing under the branches that bid them to shove off or die. At supper time, these children murmur to their mothers about scraped elbows while playing with their peas and potatoes. They plan for tomorrow's attack. 4. Blame it on the hay all you like, mother dear, but when we sneeze like little cottonwood victims, eyes puffed, noses dripping, snot puddles, the kids on this block will know where to point their grubby fingers, and these kids know summer is on the pastures. This poem is called The Robinson Sisters. It's about these two sisters that used to babysit me. And actually, they used to babysit my mom, too, so they were really old when they babysat me. The Robinson Sisters. You're growing like a weed, they used to say to the children while throwing their heads back in slow nods to the rhythm of their rocking chairs. To and fro, to and fro. They were inseparable like twins, always nodding their perfectly shaped blue-haired heads in silent agreement on the front porch of their slanted home. They'd sip on sour lemonade in cans and heat while flicking wicker fans in their gnarled grips. They'd flick those fans and nod blue heads and rock those chairs slowly, slowly, each of them mumbling or humming something sweet to Jesus. Lord Jesus, to and fro, to and fro. And this is my last one. I've read it before at Mays, so this is the second time. It's called Kansan Girls. It's every Kansan girl's dream to fly away like Amelia did, and just get the hell out and find someplace exciting to rest her lovely ancient bones. when the dreaming is done. And can you blame her? Could have happened to you. And did you know that every Kansan girl has been choked? There's still a Bible belt wrapped around her neck since birth. And oh God, what was she thinking? Sorry. And oh God, she calls her cross a necklace now. And oh God, what was she thinking letting her leave the house like that? Has she no shame, this girl? Has she no respect? And near her folk simple home there are prayers growing like weeds from the ditches. And they grow wildly discarded like the empty beer cans her Marlboro smoking boyfriend always chucked out his Chevy pickup truck. He'd used to drink and chuck and drink and smoke along those little dirt roads leading straight to nowhere and no place. And she'd let the wind pull her hair out the window, and she'd pilot her hand through the current, half praying that she'd end up in a place like heaven. And she'd prop her bare toes on the dashboard, eyes closed, dreaming and losing herself with the static on the radio. But can you blame her? It could have happened to you. And every Kansan girl's the same, a little shy and all insane, but she always makes her daddy proud, and she proves that she is stronger than her mother and her mother's mother. With any luck, these girls rediscover climbing trees before it's too late, before they're too scared to see the consequence of heights and gravity. And it could happen. It could happen to you. And every Kansan girl has cut her lips on a blade of prairie grass, trying to make it whistle like a vertical harmonica. And she walks barefoot all summer long, soles like leather treading on down the road for an ice cream cone, passing carved initials in the lonely prairie timber. And she used to bake mud pies under the fire of the sky, and she used to hunt the lightning bugs and the crickets like they were jungle beasts. But the roly-polies were her friends, and the roly-polies had their names, even though every bug dies in jars just the same. What a shame. And she has seen the sky turn green, and she has heard silence echoing, and she remembers the weariness of neighbors as they begin poking onto porches waiting. And she has heard the siren sound their warnings, and she has raced into the center of the street, wearing cut-off shorts and a nightie shirt just to watch the sky start spinning. And she is drowned in the glowing ocean of the moonlight, coughing up her wishes and her childhood and her days. And she still thinks that bruises are pretty. And she still scatters hair clippings on the lawn, and she's still stubborn and eager and feisty and fragile. And she was born the rustic color of American beautiful. And she's still here, on the front porch swing, popping off the ends of green beans for supper, and she's so tired of dreaming herself to death. But regardless of this, never mind that, Amelia had the right idea flying away and away, and can you blame her? Being raised a Kansan girl, can you blame her? This could have happened to anyone. Thank you.